The destiny of all black people on the planet is linked. Whether you're in Africa, the Caribbean, the Pacific Islands, Europe, or the Americas, our destinies are linked, and that destiny lies in the full liberation and empowerment of the great nation state of Africa. On December 2018, when Meng Wanzhou, chief financial officer of Huawei, was detained by Canada on trumped-up fraud charges at the request of the US, China responded in kind just 9 days later by detaining two Canadian citizens on December 10. A former Canadian diplomat, Michael Kovrig, and entrepreneur, Michael Sparrow, on espionage charges. Russia and the West have a long history of detaining each other's nationals. Same thing as Iran. In 2020, after the then Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison, called for an independent inquiry into the origins of COVID-19, China placed a ban on the importation of Australian wine. The result, in 2029, Australia sold $1.24 billion worth of wine, that's Australian dollars worth of wine, to China, surpassing France to capture the market share close to 40%. But by 2023, after the sanction, this had collapsed to less than 1 million Australian dollars. When America clears their throat in South Korea, North Korea shoots off a nuclear missile into the sea. What's the point of these stories? One of the most lucid things I've ever heard a diplomat say was when Nigeria's foreign minister, Yusuf Tuga, sat for an interview with a DW journalist, which is German state propaganda, and was asked about how he keeps autonomy in the face of the world splitting into blocks. And he responded by saying, "As a student of international relations, I know the international system is an anarchic one. Countries fight and vie for their national interests." In case that wasn't clear enough for people to understand the true reality of the world, then what's currently going on in West Asia underscores this reality. The West have thrown off the mask of civility, an image they curated with billions of dollars and centuries worth of propaganda, and have descended into base-level colonial violence to defend their collective interests. When I really started to see the world for what it really was, I had three immediate visceral reactions. The first reaction was that I hated the foreign language in my tongue, because I know that the language that I speak came to me through unspeakable violence on my ancestors. Second reaction was I wanted to just call all my family to tell them to turn off the TVs and pull their children from the education system, which is really just a machine for making compliant slaves and for upholding white supremacy. The third reaction I had was that I felt fear in my heart for the safety of Black Americans. Yes, Black Americans. In as much as we are all slaves to capitalism, I thought immediately that the one mistake of Black people was to remain in Africa after slavery. Because we all know that somebody like Marcus Garvey was agitating for Black Americans to return back to Africa because he has seen the danger. Black Americans are a captured population to the imperial empire. This is literally ancient Egypt. The world is a violent place, and in this great power politics, the only way to gain respect is by instilling fear in those who seek to disrespect, undermine, and exploit you. And that fear in an anarchic world can only come from economic, political, and military might. And that fear and respect must come from the source. Black people have only one home, and that is Africa. The liberation of Africa is the only way to liberate all Black people across the planet. Because we have to be able to say, touch the hair of one Black person on this planet, whether it's in the Caribbean, in Europe, or in the Americas, and we will sanction you. We will deny you access to our markets. We will deny you access to trade with 2 billion people and to trillions of dollars of agricultural and mineral resources. We will seize your diplomats and prevent our people from going to work in your cities. And we have to be able to do this with the military, political, and economic unity to back up those threats. Conversely, Black unity in the diaspora means that when they advance on Sudan or Congo or Burkina Faso, the collective voice and action of all the African diaspora, whether it's in protest or in the withdrawal of labor or boycotts, will wield significant strength and power. Our destinies are linked. The recent rise of diaspora wars are not by coincidence. They are not organic and they are not natural. There is no natural hate between continental Africans and Africans in diaspora. You are us. You are our brothers and sisters. We share a common lineage, a common struggle, a common enemy, and a collective destiny. Just the way the feds flooded your neighborhoods with drugs, how they redline you, discriminate against you for jobs, loans, and mortgages, arresting men and farm them out to corporations. I'm willing to bet that these so-called diaspora wars have their origins in one of these three-letter agencies. They don't want us to like each other. They want us to hate each other. That's why they pit us against each other. Because our destinies are linked. As long as there is no economically and militarily stable African state or continent, the only continent that is homogeneously black people in diaspora will never be free. One of the most humbling facts for me as a humanist, as one who aches and yearns for human dignity and for the safeguarding of the planet and all its inhabitants, whether it's man, animal, rock, or tree, is that all the great heroes that we've come to learn about, whether it's Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Sankara, Lumumba, Gaddafi, and all the unnamed indigenous people that have passed through the ages, is that they have all died fighting this monster of imperialism. And the monster is still here. I know unity might feel like a daunting task, but I want you to remember that history is continuous. And the enemy knows this, and he will wait 1,000 years to enact his plan. We can also wait 1,000 years while we build up our unity. The path to black unity might be long and arduous, and it might not be our generation that reaps the benefit. But for the sake of your children and your children's children, it is a path that we must begin to forge. This shit world has gone on too long. This disrespect of a people who are single-handedly driving the culture of the world, of a talented people, both on the continent and in diaspora, has gone on too long. We are under siege. It is time to unite in all of our greatness.